So just to preface the topic a little bit, I hear so often people saying, like, it's so hard to find new music.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. It's...
You know what, though? I think it's hard to find new goth music that's actually goth.
Or good.
That's a different story altogether.
Yes, because a lot of the outlets, a lot of the goth music outlets tend not to specialize in just goth rock and push post-punk really hard and dark wave really hard.
Yeah.
So
finding gothic rock is really hard. And once you find the 3 or 4 bands, you just follow them and watch the shit that they post and who plays the shows with them on the flyers, and that's how I found a lot of it. I mean, it's much more work to find it because the words gothic rock together are like a show killer. Like people can't get gigs here. We don't have anything in this area that's called gothic rock. It would have to be The Mission, and then they would just be a big fat pop band from the 80s that would be doing a reunion tour in most people's eyes. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying that's how it would be perceived. So we just don't get gothic rock. Here we are all post-punk with a little bit of dark wave, but we have more kind of experimental kind of edge music when you go to live shows.
Right. Well, I don't know. I feel like dark wave is not dark wave. Death rock is taking off too, but you kind of have to like Bandcamp is kind of like everyone's go-to for
all things goth music genre.
Now. Yeah, and it's really only like kicked off in like the last 2 years. That's kind of when everyone started really getting on it.
Yeah.
But it's existed since what, like
10 years?
I think it's existed for like a decade now. Yeah, because I've had my band account since like
the first album I got there was like 5 years ago, at least 5 years ago. I think it was either Beats Antique or Kishibashi. But anyway, welcome to the laugh, y'all. That's not goth. But the first gothic rock band or new goth music band, just the first new goth music overall band that I found. I was looking for gothic rock because I went and collected all the old shit I had, what I could figure out. I listened to a lot of stuff in the 80s. The first one I found was Then Comes Silence, Nyctophilium, right as like the day they put it out. I bought that album.
So good. And I love that band. And you can follow so I love that band for the sheer sake of their guitarist, which is Luo Zombie, who you follow him back through all of his projects that he has been involved with, and it's all so good. And that's another way that I find new music is what musicians are in this band and what else have they done.
Well, and sometimes they're working in a band and a side project. And if the side project has a sound that you like, then you can look at the other members of the band and see what they did in their older stuff. Sometimes you can see... On rare occasions, you can see if you look in the details on Bandcamp at least, the mixing and mastering, and then check the person that did that, and they might be another band member. Because I don't know that people realize how often bands in the goth genre do mixing and mastering for each other.
Oh, yeah, like Ariel Maniki of...
that guy is talented as fuck.
Ariel Maniki and the Black Halos. He does so much mixing and mastering for all of his buddies' bands in Central America.
Yeah, he does. I've seen his name on something outside of Central America, like Canada or something. I forget what it was, though. It was surprising. I was like, oh, Ariel Maniki. Yay! And that is someone whose collection I'm slowly going backward through because it's always interesting. It doesn't sound exactly like anybody else. He has his children singing sometimes, which is fantastic, and I love it.
I mean,
and there's just different stuff.
Album.
Yeah, so anything that he's involved with is probably going to be generally pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel the same way whenever you look at anything mastered by Jason Corbett.
God dang it. And who has Jason Corbett mastered? So I have a dog hair stuck to my lipstick, y'all. If you're wondering why I'm over here going crazy.
So...
Yeah, you kiss him a lot and you get hair on your face.
Jason Corbett of Actors, he owns Jackknife Studio in California, and he recently mastered a Starry Night's latest album, which...
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And
I didn't, I'm terrible with band name members, unless I've actually interviewed them, y'all. That's how I know any fucking buddy at all, or that I've tried to interview.
That's fair.
Yeah, I tried. I had asked, actually, Then Come Silence for an interview. They agreed to it, and all of a sudden they started getting gigs all over the place. So they never had time.
Oh, no.
They never had time. And it was like, I just gave up after we emailed back and forth. So I probably should ask him while we're in
you should reach out to him again. Like, Hugo was really, really nice. We reached out to him with my band, just asking, hey, can we, like, do we have your permission or your blessing to cover some stuff from Los Carniceros del Norte? And he was just like, yeah. And then we're like, what drum, like, program did you use? And he's like, oh, FL Studio, and this is the pack I used. And I was like, that's fucking amazing.
FL, is that Fruity Loops or is it FL?
Yeah, that's Fruity Loops.
Okay. Yeah, so a lot of times they will actually answer that if you choose to do your own project. But yeah, finding new music. Okay, so I figured out some disqualifiers when you go look for new music, because I go to the web and I'm like, top goth albums of all time.
Oh God, I hate doing that. It's always the same ones, and they're terrible. Well, that's not true. It's always the same ones, or they're terrible.
There's some constants in there. If they all have Christian Death. It's only a Theater of Pain.
And they all have
that. That is absolutely not an identifier for a proper list. You got to go for disqualifiers, not qualifiers. Yeah. Your disqualifiers are Marilyn Manson, Motionless in White, Ghost,
Nightwish.
And Nightwish. Oh, what's the other one? Fuck. There's one more. There were 5 bands that were absolute disqualifiers. Oh, Typo Negative. I'm not saying they're not good because they're fucking great, but they're not goth. October Rust is kind of riding a border, but I found that those lists are generally, doesn't mean all the information is bad, but it means that you don't necessarily have someone who really is trying to stick to the huge umbrella of genre that we are.
Well, I always like lists that actually define what exactly they're looking at when you go in, instead of being like, these are my personal preferences, which they usually end up being, which is why I like like Oliver Shepard's death rock lists that he's written for Cult Nation. I'm not a big fan of the one that he wrote for Post.
Was Cult Nation?
Cult Nation.
Okay.
Yeah, he wrote.
Yeah. Andy Lennon from Sounds Like Winter writes for them.
That's awesome. But yeah, he also recently wrote a 5 new death rock bands you should listen to on postpunk.com, and he included Rose Garden Funeral Party, which I found very questionable.
I think they are not remotely death rock. I think they have the look, and that's why they get added into goth anything. I think they have some vaguely post-punk style guitars in there. I mean, bits and pieces will have that post-punk feel. I don't feel like they're exactly goth, but I think that they're one of those bands that isn't goth but is well loved by goths. And I know that there's a lot of goths who would just want to get on the mat with me about this one. And I've seen them live like 4 times. So I know what they're like live. People love them live. They're very dynamic live, and they're good. But to me, I get much more of a Joan Jett vibe with a little tiny splash of post-punk here and there. They're good live, y'all. They're good. If you go to see them, you're going to have a good show. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to hear some good music. And I actually love Leah Lane's voice. But, I mean, they're from our area. They're actually from Denton. They live in Dallas, and I think they're aiming to move to L.A. So I don't think they're death rock. You know who's death rock? Blood Bells. Blood Bells is death rock, and they live 3 miles from my house.
I like their surf vibe.
Oh, yeah. Clint's helping me with my 90s goth music.
Nice.
Because I missed like 15 years worth of music. I have no fucking idea what's happening. And so he's helping me.
Nice.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
So getting back on topic to Bandcamp, I find that when I'm going through Bandcamp, it's my most reliable way to find new music. Well, that's not true. It is my least effort way of finding new music.
Yes, it is.
Because like everything is tagged, so you just pick a tag and start browsing it. So I'll usually do goth, and then as I'm like going down the list, I mentally filter things out based on their album covers. Is there like a really 1986 hair metal looking cover on this album, even though it's labeled goth? It's probably not something that I want. Because
I also do that, and if there's too much color, if it's collage and color, it's usually very bright, vaguely a little post-punk sounding. I do the same thing you do. And every time, but I click them. You're going to listen to a lot of music on Bandcamp before you find something that you're really looking for.
Yeah, and you're probably going to listen to a lot of stuff that you hate. Because bands will put tags, like really big genre tags, like goth and post-punk and darkwave. And, death rock is a little bit weird. Death rock it either means like hardcore or death rock. So I'm not really sure where that comes in.
I think people who use death rock as a tag that don't know death rock don't realize that people who use death rock as a tag that do know death rock use it as one word.
Yeah, well, I think that
they do it as two words.
I think that they don't realize that it's a genre. I
think that's hell no, they don't.
But some of the bigger tags like darkwave and post-punk and goth, you tend to get a lot of other stuff thrown in there because kind of what you do on Bandcamp is you put extra tags on stuff for reach because it throws it in all of these different lists. So that's why I look at covers. I think that covers are a really good tell, and then if you aren't sure, look at what else something is tagged with. Like if something is tagged goth and then all of the other tags are like EBM, noise, electronic, like then I'm like, this probably isn't what I'm looking for.
That's true.
But if it's tagged goth, Leeds, like sometimes that helps.
Goth, if it's from Leeds and it says goth, you probably have a chance
sometimes
there.
People put Leeds in their tag to mean like UK style goth. So they're like their tags, yeah.
Well, I've noticed one thing is when trad goth is in there, it's almost never good.
Isn't that the problem?
Trad goth, I don't know. Trad goth is one of those things to me. I'm like, what the fuck is even that? Except for somebody's fashion creation idea.
Isn't that the stereotypical joke about 90s goth where it became too self-referential that it became not good?
Right. I mean, that's great for a joke in between us because people are like, oh, you're so trad goth. And I was like, you mean I can't get out of 1987? Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. But one thing I can tell you, well, I have many thoughts on Bandcamp. It is my favorite place to find stuff.
Yeah, mine too.
But there is a lot of shit marked goth that isn't. And also remember, if you use the word gothic, you're looking at gothic metal, and you might accidentally hit doom metal. And some of those are so close to goth in their sound that a lot of goths are going to listen to them. You know what? If you like it, just fucking buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to box yourself in to be exactly true to genre, because I listen to M. Lamar. I forget the whole name of the band, M. Lamar and something else. And I would say it's goth. I know like 50 people would be like, you are fucking wrong. But it's dark, it's sonorous. There's a near like operetta. Think Porgy and Bess. It's the only operetta I know for sure that's an operetta. Kind of feminine vocals in there, and there's the grit and cello sounds and all this kind of stuff, and it's dark and got an almost orchestral feel in it, and it's absolutely brilliant. But a lot of people I know wouldn't call it goth per se because it sits so far into the experimental side. Really, really, really enjoyable this morning when I was listening to it.
Yeah. Well, another good tell that I've found is, like you said, like support the music, and then once you find a bunch of stuff that you like, you have this little collection, and if your name is popped up underneath an album, you start noticing the same people popping up underneath a bunch of albums of like similar genres. Yeah. And follow them, like dig through their collections. And I have found so much like music that just completely passed me by because I'm just like, I recognize this person's face or this person looks cool. So I go and I dig through their shit.
Yeah. I actually bought 3 things out of Azy's collection the last Bandcamp day. I think I went and looked up some other stuff too, but I think I bought 3 out of yours. And 2 of them were compilations, which I almost never buy compilations, but one of them was 90s and one of them was 80s. And the 80s, I'm like, yeah. And the 90s, I'm like, I don't like all of this, but that's okay, because I like these 5 bands a lot. There's also, Google, I think, is one of the hardest places to find stuff. Like if you go into Google Music, Google Play, whatever, and you know a band name, so you type the band name in, you're all good. But if you click the goth industrial genre tag there, it's going to be small. First of all, you're not going to get a lot. You have to do it like 5 different times, like go to different bands and then click it there. But also, there's going to be like Paul Simon. No, Bruce Springsteen came up in mine. I'm like, why is Bruce Springsteen down here on like the bottom of page 2? What is going on? So Google, you have to go with the top few choices. It's not very reliable. And I personally am complete shit on Spotify with finding new bands. I'm terrible with Spotify. And I don't like it. They pay very low for musicians per play.
Michelle, did you see the comments?
Oh shit, there's a lot.
There's one in there about you.
There is?
Yeah.
That statement, looking for a tag and then going down the rabbit hole. Hello, and Anathar. I definitely looked through other people's collections. Somebody went through my collection and bought like 15 things one day.
Nice.
Oh, hey, Sansombre. Sansombre of the blood. Oh, well, that's cool. Watch out, there's some experimental shit in there, Brandon. You're going to be like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was trying to support Black artists because I was like, why don't we see more Black artists at shows? What is it? I mean, why does that make a difference? Why is it a bunch of whiteys in the show? So I went looking for Black artists, and Bandcamp, somebody put together something where you could look up genre and Black or Black-fronted artists, bands with Black members. So I went and found some, and I found the post-punk to be highly creative, slightly different than a lot of the stuff that we're hearing. So I'm extremely excited by bringing in different ideas, a little bit more funk. Hell yeah, we need more of that. The one with the operetta sounding vocals, was it Baba Ali? Baba Ali is a nice post-punk band.
Oh yeah, you were talking about them.
Yeah, so I mean, I just found stuff accidentally because I was like, well, let's see what we got. Holy crap. Out of like 4 of the post-punk, I bought 2, and out of 4 of the gothic rock or whatever, I don't remember if it was dark wave or gothic rock, I bought 2 of those. So, but they had every genre, and y'all, Bandcamp has so many fucking genres. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
You can pinpoint that shit like crazy.
You know, what? I'm trying to remember my buddy's label. Oh, Venus Aeon, Dodoy, with their Blood and Dust compilation. I asked TG to put Yeehaw Goth as a tag on that, and it is the first album of the Yeehaw Goth tag in Bandcamp.
How has there not been a Yeehaw Goth band tag anyway? Like Cowboy Goth, there's like a whole genre that wear the dusty cowboy look.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's just a look.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a really good album because it mixed in some themes that you wouldn't expect to go together, and it worked really well. There's like one song on there that sounded like it was some kind of country experimental, but the rest sounded like goth with a touch of country or goth music.
Mm-hmm. And that's another...
Y'all did a good job.
And that's another way to discover new music is through compilations, because compilations are not dead. And there are a lot of labels that put out comps, like, regularly. Young and Cold does a great comp.
Venus Aeon, that you just said.
Venus Aeon does, I think they do primarily comps. They have a couple things that aren't comps.
I think they have, like, 8 or 9 other of their Venus Aeon. But that, what was it, Blood and Dust?
Yeah.
I think I would highly recommend that one, just because it's different. And there's a couple of bands on there that I'm like, this shit is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for something interesting.
Maus and Azy.
What did you say, Young and Cold?
Yeah, Young and Cold Transmission. But, and At Sea Compilations has some really good ones.
Yes, they do.
There's some pretty good, oh my gosh, there's a Peruvian label that does some good comps too that I'm blanking on. But...
The
alternative, wow.
Oh my god.
But Maus and I actually helped put together the Blood and Dust compilation.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. And
it's really it's creative. Y'all think what you call outside the box. I'm so sorry for the corporate speak, y'all. Please spam me for that one. I just can't not thinking along structured lines.
Well, I'm really excited to do more stuff with TG. I like TG a lot.
Well, and he doesn't have a lot of fear if he's willing to put out a compilation like that, because it's a lot of effort, and you don't know how it's going to be received. You don't know if people are going to be like, you know what, go away. Yeah, we hate your shit. And hopefully it was successful. I don't know. I bought it. I love it.
No, it's actually done very well. So I think that's really great. Yeah. I think that he said it's the best selling compilation on his label.
No way.
Yeah.
Because the Venus Aeon ones are pretty good, if I remember correctly. But, with a compilation, you takes your risks. So you buy a compilation, and it's great for that particular label that does it. And then the next one you get, and you hate everything. And that's just kind of like they're going with trends, and they're always trying to find new stuff.
Yeah. It's like there's a comp label called Die Zelle out of Germany, and some of their comps I absolutely love, and then they'll release the next one and I'll be like, oh, I hate everything on this.
Oh my God, who was that? I look at compilations. I don't buy them very often. I look at them, and I might buy them so I can find other bands and buy the whole album, because I'm an album listener more than anything else. But so I just use them as fact-finding missions, but I pay for all my music, so I pay for those too. A lot of times they're name your price, so yeah. I mean, if you're broke, they get it. And if you're paying them $2, excuse me, I've got a lot of fizzy stuff I've had today. What a pig. But they're happy to, when it's a name your price, they're trying to help the bands get more widely recognized. Right. In most cases.
Because Die Zelle, they only put on like unsigned bands on their comp. But
signed on their own label?
No, just unsigned bands that.
Unsigned. Cleopatra's doing an unsigned comp coming up.
Yeah.
But they're taking their time. I don't know when do you know when that's coming out?
I have no idea. But Maus and I joke all the time that we need to tell Cleopatra to hire us to put together their comps.
I don't really buy very many Cleopatra comps, and that could be why. They're really used to be able to. I remember seeing these, but I don't remember them being good ones by the time I saw them. They used to have compilations in Hot Topic.
They used to carry the project comps.
Yeah, before they were a crammed with stuff junk store.
And Dancing Ferret. I love the Asleep by Dawn comps.
Yeah, I remember they were good, but the last time I saw one, it was all, I looked on the back and I don't remember what the band names were, but it was like a bunch of metal or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, we're going for fanboys now. We're looking for the 15-year-old dudes who are buying some metal, which is cool. Metal's cool. It's just Hot Topic. Like, if it's always been around for you, you don't know what it would have felt like the first time you saw Hot Topic and there was finally something in the mall for you.
Yeah.
I know people are like, mall goths. I was like, but the first time you saw that shit, it was like, holy crap. And you walk in and
it was like Christmas and Halloween all in one.
Oh, hell yeah. And then all the little toy things they had, and they were all aimed at goths. And it was like a freaking playground. And you could generally, in some level, afford some stuff. And I could not buy any clothing there that was not a t-shirt, and most t-shirts didn't come in my size either, because I was size chunk back then. Oh, wait, I'm still size chunk. They just make more stuff for me now. But it was still exciting.
This is kind of a side note that I thought was just really interesting, but the reason why Hot Topic started Torrid is because they noticed that all of their larger sizes sold really well.
Yeah, and Torrid used to be cool, and now everything in there is brown and denim.
Yeah, that's also true.
Last time I went to a Torrid, and the stuff that was black was like, I don't like to wear polyester. So it takes me a while to buy clothes because I won't buy polyester, and a lot of goth stuff only comes in polyester garbage fabric.
But not music. Music never comes in polyester.
Exactly. And when you love music, you can take a band shirt and you can make it do almost anything you want it to.
Yeah.
Stick that over all your other black clothes that you got somewhere better quality, and look at that.
I know that we're talking about like how Google kind of sucks for discovering like new music within a genre, but Google has many a time pointed me to Last.fm, which can be hit or miss, but for the most part is really good at like going down rabbit holes.
Well, it points me to videos that you can find on, obviously YouTube, because that's where the videos go, and it's all owned by the same company now, I think. But they'll point you to videos sometimes if you look up a band name.
Yeah, and sometimes.
You might find other stuff to click. I've had, the videos were great luck. I wanted the albums, and I couldn't get them. Not on Google. But, I went and watched the videos.
Cryptic
YouTube is also a great resource.
Oh, God, yes, YouTube. So Crypt Kicker, oh my fucking god, says they haven't figured out how to use Last.fm.
I've never used Last.fm. Well, I don't even know. Is that a site? Is that the name of the site?
Yeah, it's Last.fm. I use it to search a band, and then I will look at all of the similar artists. That's how I use Last.fm, or like a genre tag.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because I was going down a French death rock rabbit hole about 3 months back, and Last.fm was like super useful for it.
Oh my god. Yeah, French music, all French goth music has a French sound. But I don't know that I could fully define the French sound. But it all has that. Every country, well, area, region, country, whatever, actually has its own sound in music. Like when you listen to French music, after a while, you're like, is this French? If you've listened to it enough,
sounds French.
Right, that's how I feel about Portuguese. I was like, is this Portuguese? And then I'm like, oh, I'll be damned. It is. Look at that.
Yeah, that's another way that I found music, is sometimes you find a band that you like and it's like a local label, and then you just look at like other bands on that same local label. Like I found some really good Chinese post-punk that way. I've found some really good post-punk from Istanbul that way.
Yeah. Well, actually, Turkish punk, luckily she passed away, has paved the way for some other bands to come out of the shadows. One thing
and not
I do
just
that's
the
weird,
shadows, out of the language barrier. Oh, Cemetery Girls. Oh.
Did we get excited?
Yes.
Azy is working on their jacket.
I'm working on a jacket, yeah.
Hatchket. Well, one thing, okay, so something that I do that I have found some weird shit is I use Discogs. I will look up a band on Discogs, find the other shit they did. If it was on a compilation, then you can go and find the compilation.
Look at that compilation.
See the other bands.
Yes.
Right, and I've done that with several bands. I don't remember the last one I was looking at. And you find weird shit, like if they went way outside the genre that they're playing now, you'll see that stuff. Mm-hmm. But you can see everybody in the band. You can see who produced them. You click on this name, you go there, and you see this stuff they did. Oh, here's all the people they were. It's the easiest one to click on if it's in Discogs. But Discogs is kind of like old school Wikipedia where people used to put stuff in and they have to verify it, and it takes forever. So you'll see all this stuff for the band, and unfortunately, a lot of bands don't do it themselves. I wish they would, because then it would be correct, and you'd see everything. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you go, and there is so much shit that bands have done that you're like, holy crap, because they're on like 5 different compilations. They have like 7 EPs you never heard of. They have the different releases and all that. That would be a band like The Mission or Kleine Zymox has huge Discog page. I forget if Kleine Zymox had like 35 entries, and they have 12 albums, including their last EP. So.
Anathar brings up Spotify. Like, if you like X, check out X suggestions. Yeah, I use that feature on Spotify too, but I feel like you kind of hit bedrock on it really quick.
I tried that. I hate Spotify because Spotify. But yeah, when bands just put their stuff out on Spotify, of course I'll go listen to it there.
Well, the issue that I have with that is, like I said, you hit bedrock on it pretty quick because it's not going to recommend the bands that have like 20 monthly listens that might be amazing because it's looking at like what is most popular among people who also listen to that band.
Yeah, you really have to keep clicking and clicking and clicking until you get to smaller and smaller and smaller and less popular bands.
And that's the thing, sometimes you just don't.
Yeah, so it cycles. It cycles back to the same shit over again. YouTube will do that too. Like if you have something, YouTube, let's say you play, I don't know, Moonchild. Let's just go with some old school shit. Mm-hmm. You play Moonchild, right, or Butterfly on a Wheel, and it'll start playing like a random list of things that are, I guess, related to that. Eventually, for me personally, it's always going to come back to Space Age Love Song. It will eventually. Sometimes I just start there. If I want an 80s night,
I have to admit,
start there.
That's why I cannot listen to Kasvetli Kutlama anymore by She Passed Away, because every single YouTube, like, randomized playlist would always play that track, and I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, there was another one that was on there. Cruel Lies, Portals, I think. Like, listen to that one. There would be no grooves if I had it on LP on that one. And it always comes back to that, which is fine because I still like that song. I don't play it every single day, so it's cool. But then it probably goes straight to Space Age Love Song, and then it goes to some kind. After I'd listened to She from Clan of Zymox when it was new, I watched the video and I was like, well, this is interesting. And then the next time I played something, I don't remember what I played, and eventually it comes back to She. And so I play something else that's not either of those two things, and it comes back to She.
Yeah.
I have to play like Roy Orbison not to get it to come back to She.
I honestly haven't found a platform that I like that has a decent radio function. Spotify will just play like the same 5 bands. YouTube tends to go in just the most wild directions.
That's true. What about something like Archive Radio?
I've never listened to Archive Radio. I've listened to Pandora, and I just get really like sick of commercials, and then you can't skip shit.
I think Archive and Cathedral 13 are both. Archive is not necessarily. It's ARKIVE. Hedvig. Oh shit. Hedvig's Coffin. Hedvig is a DJ, and she plays stuff mixed up, but is really, really good with stuff from the 80s. Really good with stuff from the 80s. And that is on Saturday, like our time at noon. It's sometime I miss it every single time. So I'm like, I just saw this. And it's an hour after the show ended. Cathedral 13 is one that is, I think, they'd probably say it's all goth, but it's goth industrial EBM. So you're going to get a mix, or you're going to get a song that you love and kicks ass, and then you're going to get a song you're like, kill me. There are podcasts on Cemetery Confessions where you can listen to several different DJs play there. Right now, we are in what is like a renaissance of being able to listen to DJs, and everybody's sharing their playlists. Mm-hmm. Most of them are on Twitch or Mixcloud because Facebook is a beast of a... I was going to say a dog, but I love my dogs.
Well, YouTube is terrible too, so...
Yeah, they're bad for that because they will, first of all, they'll copyright you out of it, but your connection is shit. Your connection on Facebook is crap.
Yeah.
And it kicks people off. Twitch, the sound is better on Twitch. You can tell the DJs are having an easier time all around.
Oh, yeah, Twitch is so easy.
They disappear, but most of those DJs, if you go out there, the DJs that you've heard of, if you see on Facebook, once you follow one, sometimes it'll start suggesting people that actually play the correct genre. Mm-hmm. Not too far down the list, but I follow like 6 or 7, like Obscure Undead. That's like a really, really easy one.
Who's that?
Acid Bitter. Is Acid Bitter Twitch?
Yeah, Acid Bitter's on Twitch.
And Acid Bitter also features some Obscure Undead DJs.
Oh, yeah. He used to be part of our crew, but then branched off to do this project that he's doing, and I love the idea behind it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think Maus is playing spinning this weekend. There's also Scary Lady Sarah.
Oh yeah,
is playing, and the Pirate Twins and William Faith. Mm-hmm. Now once we're not all confined, which is looking like it's going to be like a 3-year tour here at this point, they won't be on as much, but they are very excited about the platform and enjoying it. There's Dark Energy Minneapolis, MPLS. And that is, oh my God, the dudes from Post Punk played. One of them did what y'all call deep cuts. Mm-hmm. And I did not like all the music, but God, it was a great show. It was great. I don't need to like all the music a DJ plays. The reason I watch a DJ is because I want to see what they do, not because I just want a bunch of shit out of my own collection. I could just make myself a playlist if I wanted to do that. So I really enjoy when people play something that's like different. But also Andy Harriman plays there, and Andy definitely reaches into some different places, mm-hmm. and she's been able to do all vinyl in that show.
Right.
Who else is playing? DJ Red Vamp from Dallas,
mm-hmm.
a little bit more oons music. Who is the guy? He did the Black Sunday. He did a good job. He does a good job. Oh my God. Why could it? Who is that DJ? Oh, Jason Spins. DJ Jason Spins Goth is also on there. He's just updated his setup, I think, on Twitch. And everybody spins Friday night, y'all. But you can watch. There's a 24-hour. There's so much shit going on. If you're not on the Obscura Undead Facebook page, they post a crap load of what's going on that page. It's another place to find new music. But that's the DJ's job. I mean, it's their job to find new music. Some specialize in older music, but it might be new to you. I mean, does it matter if it was made in 1987 if you fall head over heels in love with it? No.
Yeah, and
Rick Batts, DJ Rick Batts. Yeah, he does a good job.
Oh, Rick Batts is great. He's made a mix for Obscure and Dead. He spun with us on an evening.
He did?
Yeah. Like, Rick Batts is great, but Facebook is, like, your friend for going into, like, streaming groups and people post their mixes all the time and, trying to... what is the word, like, promote their shit, because there's the one problem with Twitch is there's no discoverability on Twitch. You have to go outside of Twitch to get people to come to Twitch to watch you.
I did not know that.
Yeah, which is one thing that really sucks about it. So, but what that means is that every DJ and their sister is spamming their page links everywhere. And once you start following people, flipping back and forth between channels is so easy.
Way easier than YouTube. It connects to my TV. I'm sorry. I was like, the picture of the box, I use Google Home. So I cast it from my phone to the TV because Twitch won't install on my TV because it's just old enough.
It's just old enough.
New to me music. I love new to me music because you just have to keep yourself entertained. I mean, who are you trying to impress? Why does it matter? Listen to what you like to listen to. If you're looking for specifically goth stuff, there's a lot of places to find it. And there's a lot of places to find new stuff. And really, I think one of your very best resources is your DJs, because that's their job.
Yeah.
I think they release a lot of new stuff on, well, obviously Obscura Undead. But also you'll see some new stuff on post-punk. I don't see things as in-depth as I like them there. We actually had new stuff on Grave City in Dallas. That's the Dallas site that Oliver Shepard does. That's Blood Bells, so, I'm extremely biased to those guys.
Mm-hmm. Well...
SoundCloud, duh, I never use that.
I haven't quite figured out how to discover music on SoundCloud. I just haven't... spent my time to dive into it to actually look. But you can usually find shit on SoundCloud before it ever hits Bandcamp or Facebook. So if you're really into being super obscure, I think SoundCloud is the direction to go for that.
If you're looking for new and tiny, if your hobby is looking for the newest, tiniest, honestly, that is the real definition of a hipster. Hipsters are always looking for the new thing that nobody knows about. So the people we call hipsters, they're not hipsters. They're mainstream is what I would call them. Hipsters are never mainstream. But if you because people tell me the bands I listen to are obscure, and I was like, these aren't that obscure. At least 50 people have heard of this band. Okay,
I feel that way sometimes about bands that I like. I'm like, no, like they've sold like over 20 copies on Bandcamp. They're not obscure.
I know. And you're like, oh, my definition of obscure has changed. But we're in a genre where so much of our music is obscure to people. And even the bands that we think are famous, like if you got to the mainstream of somebody who's like, let's say they're
and tried having a conversation about Sansombra. Everyone knows.
Absolutely. Or I'm just going to go, let's go big, let's go Clan of Zymox. Because you have to go Mission and Sisters of Mercy to get much bigger than Clan of Zymox. To us, they're big. But when you talk to somebody, even your own age, my own age, 45 to 55 group, I think is approximately, who should really, when they were more in the pop genre famous, they still don't know who the hell that is. So for somebody who achieved some pretty serious notoriety in the 80s, for people to not even know who they are, and they produce music the entire time. I think the Mission has produced music the entire time until recently, where they're doing like solo projects now or something.
I think so, yeah. That's a really good point.
People remember Wasteland. They might remember Butterfly on a Wheel, or whatever the third song is. It's like they had three favorite, but Wasteland, they played Wasteland all day.
I'm trying to remember what that third song is, because...
I still love that song.
Anathar Frost says too many people think that that all that goths think or listen to is The Cure, and that's true.
Funny thing, until last autumn, I think last winter, I did not like The Cure, and then I caught a live concert on YouTube and decided to sleep in front of it. And when I woke up to go to the bathroom and realized I was rewinding it for the third time for this 2.5-hour concert, I was like, oh, I think I might like them now. I just, in the last 4 weeks, have bought my first 2 Cure albums. Wow. And yes, it's Disintegration and Pornography.
Welcome to Goth Society, Michelle. No, I'm kidding.
It was overexposure. Yeah. They were played so much because we had an alternative radio station. And, they did the same thing, and they went and played the 5 songs, but it was still better than regular radio. So, Just Like Heaven. Oh, my God. I thought I was going to stab my ears out if I ever had to hear that song again. And now I seem to like it.
I find YouTube to be a really good way for discovering music by following, like, DJs. Unfortunately, it does seem like a lot of DJs, though, tend to fall off of YouTube at some point. Mm-hmm. Like, I used to listen to, what was her name? It was Beryl something, and then another channel, Gothic Bop, because they used to put a bunch of...
Oh, yeah, Gothic Bop. I thought Gothic Bop put
Gothic Bop is
recently.
Still around, but they're putting out stuff way less frequently, it seems.
Oh, yeah, it was rare. I feel like they put out, like, 2 or 3 things this year.
Yeah, but it hasn't been as much as they used to. But like following channels like Yami Spesh, and there's another one that I really, really like. I can't remember it. But like Yami puts out all kinds of really cool, really super obscure.
Oh yeah, Yami's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I subscribe, this is terrible. I just subscribe to bands. Once I figure out I like them, I subscribe to their YouTube channel.
Yeah, I do that too.
If you miss the notification on YouTube because you've liked them there, because I went and looked at a band the other day and I was like, holy shit, they posted something in May about some show. I don't remember that. The show got canceled. Oops, they all did. But I never noticed it because I check Facebook at like 30 or 40 seconds at a time and I don't see everything. Mm-hmm. In fact, I got rid of 300 half of my Facebook friends because of that.
Let's see.
But if you miss it there, then the video might come up the next time you go to YouTube and you're like, this is new. I'll check for an album. Just in case you're living in a cave.
I like following record labels.
Yep.
Record labels as well on YouTube.
I forget which record labels I follow.
Shoot.
Who's Drab Majestic? Deus. I follow Deus.
Yeah, Deus. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find this other YouTube channel.
All right, well, I'll be back in a sec.
Well, bye, Michelle. I'm left here all alone. This seems dangerous. Oh no. Yeah, pee break. I'll just read the chat. Pee break. That was at 9:05. I really am just scrolling through my YouTube trying to find this other channel because there are some really, really good DJ channels on YouTube and I just can't fucking find it. So there are... Oh, that's actually a good question. What am I sewing? So I have this blazer that I am sewing for a friend because reasons, and current thing I'm sewing is actually an Obscure Undead patch. But, yeah. I got like a ton more patches to sew on the fucking thing, and then I gotta start on my own vest. But why do they have to buy so many fucking patches? Why did I have to, like, do this sadistic thing or masochistic thing and sew this shit?
You still talking about your patches?
Yeah, because I'm sewing an Obscure Undead patch right now.
Well, one thing I've noticed is that bands are actually making patches just a little bit more these days because they used to be like the rarest item there is.
Hey, Daya.
Trying to find a patch, they're always sold out.
Epitaph.
They sell out pretty quick.
DJ Epitaph on YouTube. I just remembered.
DJ, I feel like I'm listening. Is that a South American DJ?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And it helps y'all to listen to goth from different countries because it does sound different. Look at this hair. Wow. What is this?
I believe that is wild.
Yeah, something happened there. Whatever.
It is wild and what it seems.
Well, this side of my hair grows faster and it's thicker. Mm-hmm. So this side rat balls up more and does this kind of crap to me. And it's because this side is almost 3/4 of an inch longer.
Oh.
So there's more hair there. Yeah, that's why it's so much more full. It's been a real bitch. It's getting cut this weekend. I'm very nervous about being in public.
Yeah, no, I was going to say. Mm-hmm.
I have my spray. They'll laugh at me, but I'll be disinfected the whole time.
You'll just be misting yourself.
I did it when I went to the grocery store. My friend's like, I don't wear gloves. I bring this. She's got a spray bottle. She gave me a spray bottle and I put the same. It's food safe. Sure, it's double strength when I use it, but whatever. I'll survive. I'm like a cockroach. Only I need special equipment instead of just being a cockroach.
I was gonna say.
So what else is really good? Okay, so back to those top 10 lists or top goth albums of all time.
Okay.
They do all have like the same thing. You're always going to see.
Well, it's because they're all subjective. No one's doing them based on like sales numbers or fan response.
Yeah, that's what they should be doing them on. That's
cool.
Really what they should be doing them on. And it would still be subjective because it's got to be a band that we all consider goth. Because you didn't really look stuff up in the 80s. You didn't look it up by, is this goth? People were like, are you a goth? And you're like, shut up. I mean, the things that became known as goth are what the people that were called goths liked at the time. And it was a very wide range. And then we got narrowed, and I feel like the range is starting to widen up a little bit again. At least I hope so, and if I'm delusional, I'm delusional, and...
I don't know. I feel like you can't really see change as it happens, and you can only view it in hindsight.
Right. That's why I said I'm probably delusional, but I am open to some of the things that are kind of sideline genre. Mm-hmm. So I'm finding the experimental stuff and different sounds. I like that shit. It's interesting. Yeah. A lot of bands that listeners think are goth, but the bands hate being called that. Well, because the bands think it's limiting, and the problem is that they think that goth is this like specific genre. You have to play these guitars to be post-punk. You have to play these guitars to be goth. You have to play this style to be goth.
It's not. It's also not that it's limiting. It's that it is a marketability killer.
Yeah, there's that too.
There's that.
Yeah. So in Germany, I know they call it dark rock a lot, and I'm like, well, I'm listening to goth here, or something that, I mean, and there's a harder side and a softer side. So if you can go all the way to like just barely this side of metal in our goth, and then you can go to something that's almost orchestral in goth, that's a wide range, man. And that's not even the post-punk genre, which goes anywhere from free jazz, which is a major influence on post-punk, to reggae, to funk.
Which, again, major influences on post-punk.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all into post-punk. And then to death rock, which is, I always call it goth music with twang. Okay. It doesn't all have twang, but some of it has twang. But it also has a lot of different sounds going on. I just think it has more of a sense of humor overall as a genre.
Well, I think that death rock is more experimental than other stuff.
Yeah, they'll mix up all sorts of crazy shit and have a good time doing it. I don't know. I think seeing death rock live is a lot of fun because they're just not. I don't know. They're just not holding back. They don't take themselves super seriously. It's kind of like you'll go see a lot of goth bands don't take themselves seriously, so it's fun to see one that does.
Brandon, I think some people can make it successful, but I think it is definitely still seen as a marketability killer. Maybe not so much anymore. Like, bands take pride in that shit again, and I love it.
Right. Well, bands also are playing for the people that come. I don't know. I feel like there is a greater relationship between bands and their fans right now. Like you can say you're gothic rock and stuff because your fans are there for you, and they'll do like what we did when we were kids in high school and playing that shit for your friends. Sometimes they make fun of you, sometimes they love it.
Sometimes they make fun of you.
I got made fun of a lot for the music I listened to. Even in college, people would be like, "You listen to that?" Turns out it was goth. Who knew?
Oops.
Yeah, right. I don't think that dark rock is goth light. I don't know. Still Patient has a pretty heavy sound, and they are, I think, just barely inside of goth rock. Because they kind of almost just hit the hard rock, and they're not trying to be anything at all. They're just trying to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think that they're just trying to be a little bit different than they were in the 90s. Because in the 90s, they were gothorific.
Yeah, Brandon says that he thinks that Vo helped people take pride again, and I think that's a true statement. So Brandon is talking about Vo St. Clair, the late Vo St. Clair of Angels of Liberty, who was a very loud voice in keeping goth and bringing back goth again when it wasn't quite so popular.
Right. And made fantastic music.
And made fantastic music.
All the drama that we want in that. And I don't really feel like Angels of Liberty hits that cheesiness factor. I always just like the drama. I soak it up like a little sponge.
But I think that's a good point. I think Vo definitely deserves a lot of credit for that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I think that bands that are like, okay, we're gothic rock, we're cool. We're cool with that. Like the bands from the 80s were weird about being called gothic rock. I think The Cure has kind of relaxed a little bit.
I think a little bit.
And Sisters of Mercy are never going to relax, y'all. This is never going to happen. They got to stick up their ass. You can hear the ego pouring off some of the music when you listen to it. A little bit later music. I'm not saying it's not good music. Some of it's really good, but some of it I'm like, what is this shit? I don't remember what I was listening to. It was something much later with them. But, a lot of them they're fine being called goth. I think, I'm trying to remember a band. Well, obviously The Mission. Wayne Hussey's like, I'll be your gothic grandpa.
I love that. He was just like, yeah, I'll gladly take that mantle. Like, please.
Right.
That was the cutest thing.
Yeah, I feel like he takes more care with his fans. You see more photos of him with his fans smiling. Like you can tell they're just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
I actually bought the book. He did the spoken word book, but I wanted the book with the pages in it, so I bought that. And I felt like it was generously done. Very generously done. Like you played some stuff acoustic and sent that out as extra bits. Mm-hmm. And you just get an email and they're like, here's another thing. And it's like, what? And I feel like that spirit, that thing that Wayne Hussey is doing was exceptional when he was doing it. I think that's kind of getting to be more like not just sending people random songs, but where the bands are just more hanging out. Like after they perform, they'll hang out and watch the next band, or they'll hang out if it's a band playing during a club night, which has started a little bit here, and I love it. Because then you get all your feel goods in the same place.
That was one of the weirdest things for me, was realizing that all of these bands are friends.
Yeah, they are. They're peers. I mean, it's just like networking. There's not really a lot of them. It feels like there's a lot of them, but there's not as many of them as you think.
That is true. And I like when I see bands hyping up their friends as well.
Oh, yeah. And some of them really share a lot of shit about other bands. It helps the rest of us find stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, I personally think it's the right thing to do. But they meet each other at shows. Like, let's say 5 bands get invited to do whatever show, or like 7 bands get invited for 2 nights. They wind up meeting each other during that time. They might become friends. They might hate each other's guts. I don't know. I don't really hear the drama, and I'm cool with that. But then a lot of times they'll talk about their friends or how good they are, or et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so I feel like once you start finding that one band that gets you into like the new music or whatever genre you're looking for, if you're into it, it's kind of impossible not to find more.
Yeah, it kind of tumbles once you start following. Well, some bands only share themselves only, and they only post things that are about their band, and they post very infrequently. Other bands post all the time, share all their friends' crap all the time, and all sorts of other stuff like that. So it just depends on how into their social media they are when it comes to Facebook. Or does anyone use Twitter anymore, or is that just what
yeah, people do use Twitter still. There is a Twitter feed where every time the guy posts some new album that he found, he will tag Obscure Undead in it, and I'm just like, I don't know why you do this, but thank you.
Yeah, I don't have a Twitter, so.
I didn't really ever use Obscure Undead's Twitter until this dude started tagging us in a bunch of stuff, and I was like, this is.
I had Twitter a while back, and it just people were telling me too personal information about their life on Twitter and expecting me to know it all the time, and I got mad, so I stopped using it. I follow bands on Instagram though, and I found that to be great because people share their flyers, and you know what's on the flyers?
Other bands.
Other bands.
Yeah. I've done that before.
I bought the whole flyer before when somebody posted something.
I've done that before when I'm like researching or like trying to figure out like, okay, what other bands from this era like were performing. Like when I'm looking back at like 1983 or something like that, because people love like sharing their collected flyers and shit, and I'm just like, what are these other bands? And just digging into them.
Sometimes they share concert tickets, but a lot of times when you saw the smaller bands, the ones that weren't super famous, you're not going to have a concert ticket. You're going to have a stamp on the back of your hand. They've been doing that since, 20s? I don't know how long the stamp on the back of the hand. But it was the 80s, too. And in the 80s, sometimes they'd sweat off faster. It's always weird to go to a goth night, and like 15 minutes in, you got a smudge of color left. Always get stamped on your way out. I've only been to like 2 shows ever where they wouldn't stamp people on their way out so they can get back in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a dick move.
Yeah, no kidding. That's kind of like saying...
Dea says she loves seeing bands come out to watch each other perform. And I did at Absolution Fest. I saw a ton of that. I'm trying to remember Vegetae. I know I saw some people, but the way they did the merchandise tables, you kind of saw them hanging out more later because they had to work and then they had to go work.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the opener, but Hood, like a drunk girl not realizing I was standing right behind Johan van Roy of Suicide Commando. Well, my famous story meeting the singer of Nosferatu, the current one, and having no idea who he was. And not being I don't dislike the band. It's just not one of my favorites. I just didn't listen to them. It's a 90s goth band. That's the thing that's missing out of my...
Shame. Go listen to Prince of Darkness right now.
Well, I'm on a live stream right now, so I'm not going to do that. But I can do that in the morning when I work, because music keeps me from committing harikari.
All right.
And going on a punching spree.
Uh-huh.
But, so I don't know. I never know who the fuck anybody is.
I feel
like
that way.
Like I said,
too.
I have to have talked to them for me to have any idea who they are.
Well, I just remember at Absolution Fest watching Panic Priest and Luis and Joel of Twin Tribes were in like the front row singing along to all the songs.
Yeah. Panic Priest has 2 people now, so
really,
I have never seen that much energy for that long from one person in Panic Priest I was like, how is he keeping up with all the shit that's happening on that stage? Because it was a nonstop pedal fest. Because it's one person, and he was playing the guitar. So he also put loop-de-loos and curlicues in there. If you know what that's the live shit people do when they play guitar. That's why we like to go see live shows, because there's usually a little bit more in them. But yeah, he was, wow. I didn't listen to him before. I do now.
Mm-hmm. No, that was really
I think he just came out with his second album. But the duet, I think there's just two of them, and I feel like it's a keyboard player, but I'm not 100%. Because I'm the one who's shitty with who all is in the band and does what.
I mean, it's like you say all the time, you're not a DJ.
I'm not, y'all. I'm not a DJ, and I do this shit with people who are DJs. So they know, like, every person in every band, every label, producer, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I know that one. I know that one.
You're not giving yourself enough credit. Like, we've gone back and forth pretty good tonight.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about the people I interviewed. Am I? Oh, no. No, not all of them.
Yeah, you haven't even said a word about Bellwether.
I love those guys. They are wonderful human beings, and they're very articulate, and I done interviewed them. And they were really nice. They're just good people.
Yeah, they are. Oh, you did bring them up, though, before.
Oh, I don't think I said... Did I say Bellwether?
Yeah, but you did say William and Sarah. And Brandon says Scary Black does a wonderful one-person thing. Albie is great. I was supposed to spin for Scary Black in Tampa in, like, May or March.
Guess what? It was canceled.
It was canceled, and I was
just like life is canceled.
And Albie and I had an interview lined up and everything, and we were both going to be shy together, and we agreed to it.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah.
That Scary Black's, does he have a new album coming out? No, I went and bought an older one. Like 2 months ago or something. Like was it the May one? The 1st of June. At the 1st of June, I bought instead on the Friday where they do like Bandcamp on the first Friday of the month, and they're going to do it again in July, is giving all of the proceeds to the artist. And on the 1st of May, I had no house payment, so I spent most of that on music. And I haven't even gotten all the albums yet. I don't know when I'm going to get the one from Germany. I don't know if they're banned from shipping to the U.S. or what. But Scary Black was one of the 3 I bought 1st of June because I was saving up for Juneteenth.
Nice.
And so I think I bought one of his older ones. Good album.
What did you buy? Did you get Are You Afraid of the Dark? Because I really like that album.
Yeah. The one with the black cover.
Oh, right? With the skeleton on
wait.
it?
I don't know. I forgot. I can get to my Bandcamp. I took every single solitary tiny personal thing off of my work computer, so my Bandcamp isn't even on there.
Oh.
Well, I'm not using the headphones. Okay, that's Andy. Oh, shit. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Oh, that album. I have never looked at this on a computer. That album cover is cuter than I thought. And I have 2 copies of the single by Raven Said because I bought a patch. And I can't wait to get that. I bought the little bat button.
The bat button is so cute. I have mine somewhere. Oh shit! It's in the other room.
Yeah.
And this is another...
I listened to it piece by piece. So, and Sky Burial is another new one.
And this is another way to discover new music, and it's one that requires a little bit more bravery. Asking people what their cool buttons, pins, and patches and shirts are. Because I've totally done that before. I've been just like, I really like this patch. What is this band? Tell me more, please.
I've had people compliment me in the grocery store on my patch vest, which I have now dismantled because it's way too big. And it had like 300 studs on the back on one side of it. And it got donated. Yeah, I took all the patches off it. That's right, you've seen it. I took all the patches off it, and they're sitting in a pile. And I have this velvet blazer that's too big that needs to be taken in, and my lazy ass hasn't done it yet. So I have an 80, and it even has, like, when you roll up the sleeves, y'all, the lining is striped. No lie, it's even got a different color lining. It's not a black lining, so it's like the perfect 80s jacket. I don't even know if I had a jacket like that in the 80s. It wasn't velvet for sure, but so I have, and it's a cotton velvet, so it's not all like staticky or anything, and it's going to get some of my patches. But I also bought an artist patch of some tarot cards to put on there. A tarot card, probably the Lover's card. I don't know what the fuck it was. Oh no, it's me. It was the Death card.
Oh no, it's me. It was the Death card.
I got a Lover's pin. One of those two things.
Ow. I just poked myself real bad.
I'm trying to see. Okay, so this is M. Lamar and the Living Earth Show is the weird sounding one. Let's see what they tag. Goth, alternative, funeral doom, y'all. Funeral doom. What the fuck is that even? I'm not even going to say that word. Classical music, new classical music, opera, Brooklyn. Yeah, they've got an actual opera singer in there. It's amazing. Lamar and the Living Earth Show. The name is long, and it is, excuse me, I just noticed they have an old album too. And then when you're band, you go and look at the album because you bought the one album, you didn't pay attention, and you go back and they have something old. It's from 2017. It's not like it's really old, but first song is called The Demon Rising. I'm in.
I have definitely bought an album because I'm like, these track titles are cool.
What?
I've bought an album because I liked the track titles, and then I listened to it, and some of the tracks I was like, oh, why did I buy this? But then others of the tracks are just like, okay, this paid off.
There was something on a compilation that I listened to, and the band was fantastic. And this is why you should always, if you go and find their album, just listen to more than one track and listen to it for more than 10 seconds. Because I went and listened to bits and pieces of the tracks, and the only thing I liked was the one that was on the compilation. I went back and listened.
That too often. I was like, and I have this thing where like I won't just buy a track off an album. If I buy something from a band, I will buy the whole album. So I have definitely
I don't buy singles. I buy albums.
So I've definitely bought some albums from just like, I hate everything on this 12-track album except for this one track, and I paid $8 for it, but I don't care because I want them to make more music like that one track.
Right. And the one, it's worse for me when I find out the one track I liked is a cover song. Then I'm like, now I kind of feel bad. I was like, so I just think the rest of your stuff is not to my liking. We'll be nice about it. Not my thing. And this one track is fantastic.
I don't know. Is there anything that we haven't hit that's how we like discover music? I don't know. I feel like that. I mean, aside from also saying like I talk to my friends about music.
You could, but.
Like, I often send my friends just, like, albums and then hope that they send me albums back.
Yeah, I actually have shared stuff with people. I've sent them albums, and when I find something, and it's really weird because my best friend Angela is not goth, but she really likes dark wave a lot. She is a Depeche Mode fanatic, and not that that's dark wave, it's not. But she's a Twin Tribes, big fan of Twin Tribes, and I think she likes Black Marble, which is a little bit lighter weight post-punk.
I love Black Marble. They're kind of what got me into the whole post-punk revival thing.
Yeah. But there's, so she likes all that stuff. So I know pretty much, loves Drab Majesty. So I send her stuff that I think that she'll like. So I sent her, she may have gone back and bought the other Twin Tribes herself. I bought her the album at the show. She had no cash, and they only took cash. They sold the LP for $10 at Black Marble.
Wow.
I'm like, you can't get an album for $10, especially not after that album factory fire, the vinyl factory fire.
I mean,
no album.
I mean, there's been times when I've sent you stuff because I listen to something and I'm just like, this sounds like a Michelle album.
Yeah, I sent you stuff.
Yeah.
But I share stuff with people. I share stuff sometimes. I'm not as good on my Facebook as I should be with my skullgirdle because I can't always share stuff on my phone from my Michelle account to my skullgirdle page, and I'm like, well, pissed, because then I have to go and recopy the link and do it all properly.
Yeah.
And so I don't get as much stuff onto my skullgirdle page as I should. But I like to share sometimes stuff that I'm just listening to. So on my Instagram, you might see a picture of the album I'm listening to at the time. Or my dogs.
Yeah,
I like it when people post pictures of their pets, so I post pictures of my pets. I've seen a lot of y'all's cats.
All my cats look the same, so it feels kind of pointless to post pictures of them.
I have a very creepy looking little dog.
You get a little werewolf puppy.
I do. They're all messed up looking, but yeah, and his eyes are white, y'all, because he's blind. He's blind. He can't. He actually walked into the column the other day. I have a supporting column in between the dining room and the living room, as if I would use a dining room for dining. I have this supporting column in there, and he walked into it and went, fuck.
Oh, poor puppy.
He bonked the shit out of his head. I was like, it's medium tone. He couldn't differentiate because he's got serious cataracts. So he's creepy looking.
So I just want to share the next patch that I'm sewing down, because I already shared the one, and I'm just sewing down Nox Novacula now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been seeing a lot about them lately.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they're good. It's interesting, y'all. The other thing is you'll start to see, like, once you become more aware of the new bands, it gets to be like a hobby, looking up new shit. And you'll hit your glut, where one day you're like, fuck this, I'm sick of listening to 15 shitty albums to find an album that has 3 good songs. And that is when you go back and you listen to your Roxy music, or you go back and listen to your antique David Bowie, or if it's really rough for me, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors is one of my all-time favorite albums.
You know,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, for a several month span, I was actually listening through every single new release in the goth, death rock, post-punk, dark wave, and dark punk tags. Good night, Brandon.
The whole album?
No, not the whole album. Every single release. Every single release.
Right, that's what I mean. Were you listening to the whole album when it was an album release?
No, I would flip through, but I was going through absolutely everything.
Oh, I did that for a few months. That's what I said. When you hit your glut, and you're like, no more. That's when I go and listen to 70s pop or Sonny and Cher. I have, it might be And the Beat Goes On and Good Times. I have their first 2. You know, whatever. We like what we like, right?
Right.
Or Janis Joplin, or just some palate cleanser. Palate cleanser, baby.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I want to pose the question to everybody watching, like, how the shit are you guys finding new music? Like, is there anything we haven't covered yet?
Yeah, what do you guys do to find new music? And you can't say watch Obscura Undead.
Yeah. Boo.
That's a disqualifier. And while you're thinking, I'd like to plug, I have a giveaway on my channel. You have to make a comment. I literally have a single comment on this giveaway, which is 3 LPs, 4 CDs, 3 cassette tapes, the Obscura Undead zine, Kentucky Vampires poster, Kentucky Vampires patch, and 3 buttons. 1 comment. I will ship it anywhere in the world. I can't guarantee you'll get it. But I will go to the post office and put it wherever I think.
You will try, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so you could hear some new music. I think it has, the albums are Kentucky Vampires, the first one. Spectre, the silver and blue one.
Oh, Nostalgia?
Nostalgia, thank you. I knew you'd know. And then £1.99, which is my absolute all-time favorite compilation. That is what got me into goth music for real. I went and found an 80s one. The CDs are Scary Black, Severance, which got in there on accident. That's my CD, but I'm giving it away because I left it in the pile on accident, so it goes. Sad Lovers and Giants, the one from 2016, and Scary Black, who we were just talking about.
Yeah, is it Shadow Dwellers or Are You Afraid of the Dark?
It's Shadow Dwellers. It's the purple one.
Oh, the purple one?
Yeah, it's the latest. And there's a pin for that, a badge for that. And then the cassette tapes are Blood Bells, because I have to. I mean, come on. And Secret Shame and Horror Vacui. But it's the older Horror Vacui, not the new one.
Which one?
God damn it, it's the black and white one with the person on it. They always have a person. I don't know what I'm thinking.
That's not true. They had one with birds.
Did they? The last, I just bought the album, the red one. I ordered and received that in the time after my, and there was a hullabaloo with my PayPal because it got locked for a while. And still have not received my Devil in the Universe orange vinyl or my Long Night vinyl. Okay, so Horror Vacui. Oh, shit. Oh, I have 300 albums in mine. Wow, I have a lot of shit.
You only have 300 albums?
312. Shut up! I buy stuff. Okay, it is New Wave of Fear. I can't believe I forgot the name of that album. And then Secret Shame. Oh, and I haven't gotten my I Am the Shadow, but that's coming from Portugal, and who knows what happens with the shipping there.
Let's see, we have 2 responses. Crypt Kicker looks up a band that they like on Spotify and finds a fan's playlist and see what they think goes with that band. I've never done that before.
That is such a good idea.
Yeah.
Let's see, Lucky Talon says, I like to research the bands I like to see, who they are, who they like, and are influenced by.
Yeah.
It keeps me going down the rabbit. Absolutely. I've done that.
Totally. See, I love listening to bands talk about like other current acts that they love, but I know that bands tend not to like to do that because, you know, it's like social politics and that sort of thing.
Well, also some goth bands, some of our genre bands don't really listen to much goth music. Some don't listen to a lot of our music. Some listen to a lot. It goes... Most of them listen to something outside of goth as much as they listen to goth. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'd say that's
there are
true.
A few.
And then Anathar's Frost says, watching DJ streams on Twitch and looking at bands I have not heard of before as of late. Yeah, same. I got reminded of a ton of music recently from Caroline's live streams.
I haven't gotten to see one of hers.
Oh, she's great. That and the Gothic Cat festival videos. Ooh, yeah, those have been super nice. And somewhat on the Argoth subreddit when people are posting music links. Yeah, I've noticed that every time I pop into the Argoth subreddit recently, like in the last couple of months, it's been a lot less of a, like, look at my black pillow pit and more of a, hey, check out this band kind of jam.
Well, maybe some people got in there and just punched it out for a while until that's what happened.
Oh, yeah, no, I think that's what happened. I think that's exactly what Dave did.
Well, I think that a lot of goths right now we're fighting for our music. I feel like, especially since we've all gone into quarantine and we really have to fight for our music because our artists are just, the only way they have to make money is for us to watch them online or buy their shit online. I think that we're more willing to fight for it. Like 3 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that fight. People who were like music would have lost. They would have given up. They wouldn't have lost. They would have left. And now they're just like, I don't think so. Stop trying to take it over, Instagram model goth. Goth. The perfect eyeshadow blend. That is a skill that I admire. I don't do it with my goth music. I do it with art music. Sorry, I'm so music. I want more music. I don't do it with my goth makeup. I do it with my glam makeup. Twin Tribes shared their Spotify list. You're going to hear all sorts of crap with Twin Tribes. I forget what we were talking about. They
Luis put out like an all Spanish playlist at one point of just like all this Spanish pop that he loves.
Yeah, he actually DJs, I think, with Spanish pop as well. Like 90s Spanish pop is one of his favorite things.
Okay, because I think that's exactly what that playlist was, and I was just like, what am I listening to? I mean, I kind of dig it, but
you're listening to the dude who wears the 90s style shirt. That he almost never wears a black shirt. He usually has patterned shirts on. Have you not noticed that?
Oh no, I noticed that.
Yeah, he loves his 90s pop. Well, he loves 80s pop, 80s new wave, and 90s Spanish pop, I think, are what he listens to outside of goth music the most. They also DJ as a pair, like, goth music.
I need to invite them to spin something sometime then.
Oh, that would be fun. I have to say, some of the DJs that really, there will always be some goth stuff in there, but they really stretch it outside of the goth stuff. Like Andy Harriman, she is going to play just like a range. Oh my God, William Faith, his last Lonely Tarts Club. That's
his Lonely Tarts Club, which is his.
He played Motorhead.
Yeah, he plays some random
crazy shit last time. It was so much fun, y'all. And then in those, if you're sitting there around, you don't have anything better to do, when you get into the chat on his, because he just starts talking, and he like talks about the shit that he did, what he's playing, and where he first heard the music. And for some reason, it really works well, and it gets the people in the chat talking to each other as well. And so that one's just a lot of fun. If you need something to take your mind off of staying home interminably, right? Isn't that what it means when we have no idea how long it's going to be? Indeterminately. Yeah, for those of us who are in a country that is not under control as far as the virus goes, we need something to
no, we are so in control. We have the greatest control.
Oh my God. Stop quoting the emperor, the mango emperor.
Yeah.
I did not put enough liquor in my glass for that.
Sorry.
Well, no, I'm not drunk. I need to be drunk for that.
No, I like that William does that.
Right.
I wish that I could do that.
Yeah.
I'm not charismatic enough. Like, he's got it down, and I'm just like, dude, like, salute, you're awesome.
Well, he's been doing it for 30 years.
I could be doing it for 30 years, and I'm still going to be just like, you left to go to the bathroom, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I started babbling about how I didn't want to be left alone.
Wait, you did? I'm so sorry. I had a protein drink and some water before we started this, and then I had this quart of a White Claw with ginger ale and probably flavored vodka. I don't know what I put in there. The last of some bottle of something. I'm going to have to go booze shopping on payday, y'all.
Is that tomorrow?
I would not. No, it's the 30th, so I got to make it 5 days. I have liquor, but y'all, I would not have thought at the beginning of this, because, I was like, I'm going to do something. No alcoholism. That was cute. Week 3 started getting bored. I would not have thought, though, that I would drink this much liquor on my own in my house in my life. Like my 3rd bottle of grapefruit vodka I've gone through.
I got blackout drunk and alcohol poisoning, like the 3rd week of quarantine, and that was when I stopped drinking.
The people were buying these shots
on the live.
That's why they're $20 now.
That's why they're $20.
Azy lives through it.
Yeah, so I survived. Oh my God, like. I was drunk for most of the next day and then hung over the entire weekend. It was really bad.
Oh, I hate that so much. I remember being in college and being drunk the next day, but I didn't get hangovers when I was young at all. So I only get a little hangover. It's not like other people. It's I come from a long line of drinkers on both sides. That's probably why we're probably not susceptible to hangovers. That's probably why they drink so much so late into life. My dad can still drink my ass under the table times 10. It's embarrassing.
Wow.
Yeah, but Lonely Tarts Club, yeah, he's kind of got that really good mix of anything goes, because he really just anything went last Saturday night. And it was fantastic. It was so entertaining. It was so much fun. The chat was fun. But I was also hearing some music that I hadn't heard that was old. And, well, I was hearing stuff I didn't expect. I always forget what Motorhead sounds like. But I remember somebody was getting a bunch of shit for not listening to goth music 24/7. And somebody's like, I bet you can't even name 20 goth bands right now. And they're like, Motorhead. Johnny Cash, Motorhead. I laughed for like 3 days over that one. It was like the best post ever. I don't remember what it was. It was some drama with somebody much younger who thinks that goth has only one way to be, y'all. Yeah. Goth does not have one way to be. It has as many ways to be.
It was someone being serious and not like telling a joke?
Oh, no, he was making fun of the person. That person was seriously just giving him shit for not knowing that much about goth music. And this was somebody who'd been playing in a goth band for like 20 years or some shit like that. I mean, she was way out of line.
Wait, William was the one going Motorhead?
No, oh, God, no. God, no. Well, that was not William at all.
Oh, okay.
That was drama on Facebook. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm trying to figure out, like, what the hell is going on with your story?
I leave out story setups. If you haven't noticed, I, like, dropped this right in the middle of that weird fucking story, so that's not William. William he might do that. But that was a Facebook thing anyway. No, he was, you could tell with the Lonely Tarts Club that he was having a good time. It's kind of like when Scary Lady Sarah, because when she DJs, I call her Scary Lady Sarah, otherwise she's Sarah Rose. When she does her DJ bit, when she brings the printed signs, y'all, she knows how to type. She knows how to social media. She's rather good at it.
Yeah.
She puts those signs because it's funny. And then she's like, la, 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 and dances in front of the camera because it's funny. Greg House at Club Berlin in Chicago. Is that person on Twitch? DJ Slave Zero? I was like, I was not reading your name right until I got close to it. But seriously, there are a lot of really good DJs out there right now on Twitch, and I think that quite a few will probably continue with the Twitch format because it's been so much fun.
I think so.
Yeah, if you want to see, variety. If you want to see variety, Obscura Undead, definitely, because you guys have 3 DJs this week, but they would go from room to room. But also Dark Energy MPLS Minneapolis, they have a really good variety as well. I have to say, one of the DJs I've seen that does just the best flow I've ever seen a DJ do is Scary Lady Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Her flow is it is perfection. Absolute perfection. She is on a level of her own. I don't know if she'd think that, but she is like, as William is sitting there talking to everybody, and he's just an entertainer. He's a really good entertainer. Everybody's going to have a good time. Her flow is so fucking fantastic. I was blown away. I watched her for like 4 hours one night. It was like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I got to go to bed.
Well, she's another one.
Sitting there watching.
She's been doing it for forever.
Well, okay, there's a lot to be said for experience. That's true, but some people just kind of have that intuition, that knack for it, and I think that's what sets her up a little bit higher. Is that there's a lot of good DJs. There's a lot of good DJs. All y'all do really well. Daddy started with I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and his show last night was fantastic. Mm-hmm. So Caroline just started. Caroline Carnivorous. What does she call herself?
DJ Carnivorous.
DJ Carnivorous. DJ Carnivorous. Whoops.
To Profound Cub, I am making. I'm sewing a patch jacket.
Tedious work that it's best that you do while you're doing something else, or you will go crazy.
Yeah, basically.
I might go crazy anyway.
Well, plus I like having something to do while I'm talking. Like it's a good distraction because I'm a very awkward person.
Azy thinks they are awkward. In person, you are far less awkward than you think. However, I know I have a soft spot for shy people. I will cozy right up to a shy person and keep asking them questions and stuff until I can get them to feel comfortable and smile. It's like you become not a project, but yeah, I got a thing. I was going to ask that jokingly. I'm going to make my own. Yeah, a patch jacket is really cool. It is a conversation starter. So really, if you're shy and you want to go to the club, like I have to go and sit on the outside edge forever because I don't want to talk to strangers, not one touching me. I have a thing. I'm neurotic. So a patch jacket actually gives people something to walk up to you and talk about, especially if you're at the bar. People will almost always say something. If you have something weird on there. Unusual. Like it's not just I've got a Sisters of Mercy patch. What are really common patches that we see?
Susie Eyes, anything Joy Division,
Susie.
the Christian Death Cross.
Peter Payne.
Oh
no, we'll call it the modern.
See, look, I poked myself and now
Should they really be called Christian Death?
Huh?
Nothing.
Ow.
Just saying, dude is on one album and all of a sudden owns the name.
Yep. Well,
1 and 1. I'm going, yeah, you know what, Profound Cub? I wanted a patch jacket for a long time. I spent a year working on my patch jacket and got to wear it for maybe a year, whatever, and then shrank out of it. So it looked stupid. Like it was like a big hanging bag. And then I put it over a, what do you call it? A hoodie, a sweatshirt hoodie. I hate sweatshirt hoodies. I hate them. So that was my fucking winter jacket. Was that with the patch jacket on it? It was weird.
Profound Cub made the comment of patches for newer bands seem harder to come by, and yeah, I think bands are starting to realize that people want patches.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, I think my newer band patches I have are Then Comes Silence. I have the one that was round. Now it's not round. It's like got a little blob on the bottom. I had a back patch for them, but I donated that with the hooded sweatshirt I hated because I was covering up my combi Christ. Because I didn't know what the fuck they sounded like, and they had my size. I'm sorry, I didn't know what their lyrics were, and they had my size. Yeah, made a difference. Covered it up and got rid of it. Then Comes Silence. Let's see. I have Aeon Sable. I have some round patches, and then they came out with eye-shaped patches. I almost shit myself. Bought those. But they had matchbooks. When a band has something truly stupid, I'm going to buy it. I have a backpack with October Burns Black embroidered on it. But it's like an army-style backpack. Actually, it's a really good bag. I have matchbooks with Aeon Sable. I have the cassette wallet that she passed away just did.
That wallet was so dumb.
And that's why I bought it, because there's a sucker like me. Plus, it's also a way that I can, because I'm saving so much money not going to the office right now, that I can push that through to artists that mean something to me.
Right. I have a patch here for They Feed at Night. I have a Gorgonos patch in the other room. I have an Ejaculacion Postmortem sticker. I like Spanish bands.
Are you going to stick that sticker on your patch jacket?
No, I'm going to put it on my base eventually. But I'm trying to find my Nox Novacula sticker.
I put them on my suitcase. I have several band stickers on my suitcase. Because when you order physical media, you frequently get the sticker anyway. I buy the stickers, but then sometimes I get extra stickers, and I'm like, what's this?
Anathar, I can't understand when people say that they can only make one jacket and it has to be like a theme, and it's like, no, that theme is shit you like.
Yeah, my theme was, I'm going to put a bunch of spikes on here, and how can I get the patches on in a way that interests me and also is flat enough to not catch on everything I walk by. So I had Cocteau Twins, Then Comes Silence, Sisters of Mercy, and Planet Zymox on the same jacket. I didn't have anything from any other genres. Autocorrect.
I feel like I don't listen to any other genres well enough to put a patch of something on my jacket.
Dude, if I could get a Sonny and Cher patch, I would be on it. I would go for a full fucking back patch of that shit. You know I have a serious love of Sonny and Cher, don't you?
I do now.
You did not know that?
I didn't know this previously, no.
Yeah. In college, well, I grew up with Sonny and Cher, so I didn't realize what I was buying. I just bought the album my mother had that she used to play all the time. So I'm sitting there for the first listen through thinking I've got some album that I'll know a couple songs, and I realized I sang every song all the way through. So I was like, okay, I'm very happy with this album for my like $6 shipped. But I bought in college. We had 13 records, was in Denton, and it was a record store like nothing else. It was a tiny little store. And people would hang out there, and the guy who owned the store was really friendly, and they'd be talking all the time. They would actually record tapes of the conversations they'd have in the record store and just sell them for like $1.
Really?
No lie. But they would sell used shit. So I was like, that was the first time I bought my own Sonny and Cher, and I bought Good Times, which was their first album. They're wearing these hideous fur vests and big ugly fur boots. And so I've recently bought that one too.
I really wish that record stores were still a viable way to discover new music.
Oh God, it was perfect because that's how I got Daniel Johnston. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. He's like late 80s, early 90s. Mm-mm. He spent a lot of time in psychiatric wards. Mm-hmm. They would try to periodically throw his nurses out the window thinking they were Satan. So he had some issues going on. And we had this little shitty old tape recorder where you would have like the button that you press record and play together. Mm-hmm. On top of his piano. And he'd be like, don't play cards with Satan. He'll deal you an awful hand. What? And I mean, just has this weird, thin, high, whiny voice. And I swear to you, I must have listened to that tape 500 times. I loved that tape so much. But I found that at 13 Records. And I was like, you got any, I don't know. I was just looking through stuff and found the Sonny and Cher. I forget what else I bought there. But I was the person who would like to go into the record store and ask them what they liked and discover new music. And Sound Warehouse sucked, but 13 Records was always spot on. So, yeah, how are you going to find new stuff if you're not opening to listening to something that's actually completely new? Somebody had to listen to the first Goth shit and actually sign fucking The Cure. I was like, what is the name of that Robert Smith band? And somebody had to sign The Cure the first time, right? Somebody had to sign Susie. And it's Hong Kong Garden was their first big hit. Where she's wearing a Hawaiian shirt. It's hilarious.
All right, you make a compelling point. But
you're not going to get the Sonny and Cher?
I'm not going to get the Sonny and Cher, no.
I mean, I got you, babe.
Ew.
And the beat goes on. Yeah, so, people always making fun of the shit I listen to. I listen to, I guess, I don't know. I can't say everything because I'm not really a fan. I hate free jazz a lot.
Yeah, I know.
And yet it's a heavy influence in post-punk, and I love a lot of post-punk. But yeah, I feel like we covered everything. I mean, everything I can think of right now. Otherwise, you just do internet research, and you have to know what bands are disqualifiers. The beginning. If they're saying type O negative every 3 seconds and metal bands every 3 seconds,
maybe look someplace else.
Yeah, and you know what? If you look a band up on Wikipedia, sometimes those genres are wrong.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I think that when people go hunting for, like, I only want bands, like, in this genre and then insisting that everything they find that has that tag on it is that genre.
Oh, my God.
I find that a little problematic because, for me, I think the best way to discover what a genre sounds like is to just listen to a bunch of it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, doy.
And if you want to know what gothic rock sounds like and you can't figure it out, go back and listen to the Sisters of Mercy, even if you don't like them that much, and Fields of the Nephilim, and who's the other one? The Mission, and there's... You can listen to The Wake, to Bestial Gods. You can listen to a few bands.
Everyone should listen to Vendemian. I think you're thinking of Vendemian, and that's the one you're forgetting.
That's not the one I'm forgetting.
Are you sure? Because you were telling me that you were listening to a comp and everything from the 90s now sounds like Vendemian.
Shut up. I was talking about going to the stuff from the late 80s so you can hear what the early guitars... But yes, y'all, if you want to hear what gothic rock sounds like, listen to Vendemian. That's true. If you want to hear what good modern gothic rock sounds like, there's several bands like Angels of Liberty and Long Night are two excellent examples.
Blood Bells.
Blood Bells, yeah, they have more of a death rock twang, death rock, gothic rock. They kind of sit in the middle.
They got that surf rock flair.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, they're cross goth genres. go old school and hunt down when they were called Caesar and Cleopatra. Wait, Caesar and Cleopatra. What band is that?
I think Anathar's saying that that's Sonny and Cher.
No way.
I think you might have just blown Michelle's mind. All right, I'm on to the next patch. The next patch is Raven Said.
Hang on, now this is not showing. This is a 1945 film. Caesar and Cleo. Holy shit.
You just blew Michelle's mind. Oh, that's perfect. I think we have pretty much covered everything at this point.
Why you no play?
Oh, shit.
They redid this on Good Times.
On what?
The first Sonny and Cher album is Good Times, and they the Cleo stuff I just heard, the letter was redone on Good Times. I know y'all are like whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm just sitting here thinking I'll take your word for it.
Holy shit. Underappreciated rock bands and artists. Oh, there's a Wikipedia. No, it's Sonny and Cher. Yeah, I think by like 1977 they hated their guts. They hated each other's guts. Because Cher came home and found Sonny fucking the secretary.
Oh. And I'm guessing...
Yeah, but
that wasn't...
She was living, when he met her, she was living with 2 lesbians.
Okay.
Cher's badass. That's why she's so... fights so much for the LGBTQ community.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Let me get the hell out of this Sonny and Cleo or whatever, Caesar and Cleo. Thanks for that, though. I'll be looking that up again.
And that's why we talk to friends.
Caesar and Cleo. All right. I learned something new. Something I'm like, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, we need to wrap it up because I'm done. I'm tired. I've had a shit week, a shit month. And I got to pee again.
It's also my bedtime.
And it's Azy's bedtime because Azy is an hour later than me. You go to bed at 10?
Yeah, so I can get up after 8 hours of sleep because I need to start sleeping better because if I don't get sleep regularly, my insomnia kicks in really hard.
Yeah. I've been taking half a Xanax to sleep 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah, I don't like...
Not every day. Don't want to get addicted, but today is not the day. Today's the booze day. I will be sober and probably not sleeping tonight. So whatever. Okay, so we're gonna sign the hell off then, and you got to start the stream. I guess I could just leave the meeting.
I mean, no, I'm just gonna stop the stream. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking it out with us. Again, like if you have topics, like throw them at us.
Yeah,
I'm like, you should know where to.
We got no pride. We'll talk about anything.
Yeah, I hope you guys know where to find us. I think you do.
Yeah.
But
yeah, on my skullgirdle page with my answering messages, I don't always know I have them.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem. But you'll find us.
That's a little problem.
And we'll look for you. But if you have a suggestion or like anything you want us to ramble about for fucking 2 hours, let us know.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, basically. So good night.
This ignorance of consciousness there